But I think the core battleship did 2 battleships, so that was probably stronger on the draft screen. Anyway, just because 2 battleships.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, hey, second draft has been on the way, and looks like we've got the entire ban and pick set up. Can we look over to that, Jerry? And I gotta say, this is a very different pick and ban that I've seen in a while. This is full of so much special confusion. I don't even know what to say. What do you think, Mystic?
Looking at this real quick, would assume it's a similar to what they did last match with the Rattlesnakes. So you're gonna have, with the Dominics. So you're just gonna have a big battleship, an Ishtar again, to provide some damage from range and also to potentially chase around support ships like the Punisher Pontifex. And then you've got the Cerberus again, which allows you to apply really good damage to some of the smaller ships and cruisers with your rapid lights if you wanted to go that way. And so there's a little mitigation that you can get from those 2 ships if you're on the blue team. Wolf and Merlin again, yeah, strong support picks. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like same game plan as last time, perhaps with less nukes and more damage.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, all about this this pick and ban has been very different. Obviously, the first pick being a Rattlesnake, we haven't seen like someone go so heavy into it at the start because they've left Vindicator on the table, they left Hype on the table. They could have picked a lot of high DPS ships just to kill that Rattle. But then at the end, they picked a ship that I haven't seen very often here. Ray, do you want to explain what that ship is and what it does well?
The Armageddon Navy issue?
Yeah, what is that ship? I've never seen that one before.
When you say what it does well, I just get to flashbacks to Tranquility where I see it literally never. So I have absolutely no idea what it does well besides maybe show off some skins or just be kind of like that niche ship that no one really flies, but you get that one person who flies it really well and has that one situation they use it. So I'm not quite sure why they picked an Armageddon Navy issue. However, with this draft, they could have been, and nope, actually the Armageddon was banned. So it's not even a misclick either.
Well, I actually quite like that pick here, to be honest. It is a laser boat against a Rattlesnake, so lasers against shield is always quite good. Lasers can apply at any distance they really like to. Add that with a Typhoon Fleet, Ponty Mauler, it seems pretty interesting. That Mauler, my brain is saying Logi straight away. I see that Mauler pick, I'm thinking it's a Logi boat.
That's definitely potential use. Otherwise, heavy tackle. So if they're worried about, like, if you look at the Cerberus, obviously you could do rapid light spams with the Cerb and just like delete the Punisher / Pontifex off the grid. So instead of worrying about that, they could have just gone with that Mauler, which could be that heavy tackle, sort of maneuver around the field while not instantly dying into another hack or to a hack.
I think Armageddon Navy issue is a decent pick if you're going with a Tinker because it's got the spare high slot. It has 8 highs and 7 guns. So it allows you to fit a utility high, be it a neutralizer or an energy transfer, which helps keep the Tinker ship alive, like the Mauler in this case, if it is a Tinker. I see an APOC Navy was thrown out in the Twitch chat. An APOC Navy, I think, has 8 highs but also 8 guns. So if you were to do the same thing with an APOC Navy, then you sacrifice the 1 damage. Transfer. Yeah. So either you sacrifice the cap transfer, or if you want to do the exact same thing, you have to sacrifice a gun, so you do less damage there. I believe the Armageddon Navy issue gets a rate of fire bonus, so it's going to be putting out more damage, especially with a conflag buff, which I harped on about earlier this month. Doing 50% more damage, 15% more damage, that's going to be a significant amount, especially on 2 things like the Rattlesnake or the Ishtar Cerberus if they get close enough. But it also gets a cap use reduction for its lasers, so it's going to be less pressured by any newts effects that are going to be coming out from the enemy team. And it means that it has more cap to spare, I think, when it is running the energy transfer onto the Mauler, if it wanted to. So I think it's an okay pick, especially against the lineup that they're going against. I think definitely. EM
I was surprised
thermal damage.
Sure. Sorry.
No, sorry. I was just saying EM thermal damage, I think, is a decent choice against them.
That's the thing I like about it. The EM Therm, they save the points for it. They have a really powerful ship. Like, the Geddon Navy we've seen a few times. It definitely works. And it's something that I don't think Odin was even expecting. Like, when do you see a Geddon Navy ever? We've seen it picked like twice. It's a beautiful ship.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably, I'm not sure if it's the first pick that they would go for. Necessarily, if they're thinking about their draft, they want to do Tinker, they want to have projection around the arena. They want to be tanky, sturdy, you know, have utility high so that they can have that energy transfer. I'm not sure Armageddon Navy issue comes to mind first, but other ships like the Typhoon, for example, were already banned. Typhoon being something that I like to see paired with Typhoon Fleet issues or bar guests, because of its ability to apply with cruise missiles or heavies or whatever else in the arena. So I think it's usually a fantastic choice, and it's not a surprise to see it banned here. But I don't think there are many other battleship choices you would really want to go for of the faction variety, or rather, yeah, the Navy variety that has a utility high.
Oh wow, thank you to whoever that was for the 5 gifted subs. You were an absolute bloody legend, mate.
Yeah,
So everyone there, please thank him.
Spam those emotes in chat, especially if you just got gifted that sub. You can throw the shade emote out there. And kind of switching gears, I wanted to ask you guys about sort of the support wings of these ships. So on the Odin's call side, we see the Wolf, the Merlin, but then on the Traveling Salesman side, we see the Pontifex, Punisher, and potentially that Mauler, depending on how you want to see it. How do you guys feel these support ships will fare? Or, well, yeah, how will they fare in this matchup?
Well, I want to jump in first and just quickly say there is not a single link on red side at all. That is a tough call to make. I don't think I could ever go into a match thinking going without a single link on me.
I mean, okay, so the thing with links is, sure, they're nice to have, and if it's like mind linked or whatever, then sure, it's really great percentage bonuses that you get. But bringing in a link ship, especially if it's not a battle cruiser, is also sacrificing a slot which you could use for many other things. So I don't think links are necessarily essential. I think it depends on the type of setup that you're going for. If it's going to be sitting, tanking, there's going to be no mobility aspects or anything like that, then sure, links are probably going to be something you want, simply because your game plan kind of revolves around having all the bonuses you can get. But, you know, BNI rushes, well, actual battle cruiser rushes are probably the worst thing to bring up because they have their own innate links. But I suppose in a way it works as an example because all of those ships, although they have links, do other things. They have great EHP, they do damage, projection, mobility, they can tackle if they want to. There's a lot of other reasons to pick the link ship. Pontifex in this case might solely be for orbiting a mauler if it is Tinker, perhaps, you know, clearing some drones and running links. It doesn't go out and, you know, screen to prevent the enemy ships from getting on top of them. It doesn't do anything besides contributing like 150 DPS and some armor tank. Whereas, you know, you could perhaps go with another option to get more damage or some more control on grid, which may help in the long run. So I don't think links are essential. I think they're really nice to have, but I don't think it's an insta loss if you don't see links on an enemy team.
Well, speaking of, I picked 2 hacks here, which are the same price as a battle cruiser. Do you think would it be worth changing that out there, or you think no, the hacks are a good call, being able to be a bit kitey and pick on small targets?
I think the benefit of Ishtar Cerberus over, say, like Harbinger Brudix or something along those lines is that the Ishtar and Cerberus have better range projection if they wanted it. They have the ADC so that they get a burst tank kind of aspect when they do start to take damage. They're not limited in the way that they apply their damage either. So even though they can project it really well, their application isn't really dependent on how their ship is piloted. So with a gunboat with a gunboat Brudix or Harbinger, you will need to make sure that your transversal isn't too high, that you're keeping, you know, a good range so that your damage is applying properly. I mean, you're not getting like glancing hits or grazing blows or misses. Whereas an Ishtar can sit at 60 or 80, put its drones on something, and then walk away from the computer, and those drones are still going to do their job.
Definitely agree with you there. Like, I'm not saying at any point that any of that is wrong, but at the same time, I'm thinking if I removed an Ishtar for a Drake and got myself a shield command link, but I do agree for sure.
I think like if it was a Drake instead of an Ishtar, and you wanted to all in, you know, one of the battleships or the mauler, then you can fit like hams and just like burn straight in, have a bit more tank because of the link, and probably do roughly the same amount of damage, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, depending on drone choices from the Ishtar and the fittings from the blue team. But the Drake, I think, is a lot easier to kill than the Ishtar, especially if it burns
Definitely.
into the Armageddon Aviation Typhoon. And I think, Drake in place of an Ishtar in this comp against an Armageddon Aviation is probably also not a great choice for the red team, though they couldn't have known that was coming since it was last.
How do you know that's coming? Like, how do you see a Geddon Navy popping up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at it now. So they picked the Ishtar Cerberus. There's many other hacks that they could have chosen from. I mean, there's no hack bans in the first banning phase. Do you like these two hacks that they've chosen, or would you have picked something else?
I've seen before that Ishtars at the start of a match can essentially just put out light drones and immediately kill a frigate, whether it be a bomber or a Punisher or a Vigil or a Worm. They can at the start of the match just lock it up, drop light drones, and kill it. Obviously, the same job with the Serb, so I wouldn't call it fly killer, but it is somewhere along those same lines, killing the small ship quickly. And of course, after that, the Ishtar can switch to its heavies and start pounding on them. So, I mean, I kind of like it, but at the same time, why not a Zealot or why not something else? There's a lot of other options. They probably thought about those, but I don't know. I think it's probably just defaulted to Ishtar Serb.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Zealot as an option. I was thinking more of the Sacrilege or something along those lines as well, since that's a pick that we were seeing a lot. Yeah, exactly, in the early stages of the tournament and also in the opens, and the open weekends that we did. So King of the Hill weekend, sorry. So it's I still think Ishtar Cerberus is probably best choice for them, given their setup at the moment and the ships that they're going against. I don't think the Sacrilege would be necessary in terms of screening or hard tackle. I don't think that the Typhoon Fleet issue and Armageddon Navy issue are going to be moving around much with the
And
Moor
also,
on
as
their
well
team.
for that, sorry to jump in as well, is that the Sac doesn't have much damage. So that's the thing they're going to need here, is the damage to break these targets.
You say that, but I think a Sacrilege does have a decent amount of damage, especially with hams.
I mean, compared to a Serb and Ishtar?
I think it's comparable.
So, curiosity question, because I know this is hosted on CC, so this isn't somewhere like Thunderdome where these players have like full like level 5 accounts. Do you think players are limited by their actual skills on Tranquility more than anything else, or do you think this is just like a preference, or they have some sort of strategy in mind when coming up with these ships?
Well, I would say that I think SP is less of a limiting factor if teams that are actually taking it seriously need a skill. They can just inject it. It's CC, like you said, so it doesn't matter. Many people, especially in teams that could take it seriously if they wanted to, have multiple accounts, so they can just strip those accounts of all their SP and inject into whatever skills are necessary at that time. I would say that most times when you're picking a team or when you're putting a team together and you're coming up with comps, there are going to be people that prefer different ship types anyway. So you're going to have people that want to fly the big ships, you're going to have people that want to fly the smaller ships, the logistics, whatever else. They're probably going to have those skills already in place because they know that that is a class or a role that they like to play. So those skills will carry over from TQ. So I don't think it's going to be too much of a limiting factor for these guys, especially considering it is CC. But any less experienced team that's decided to throw their hat into the ring, come together randomly on a whim, because it's a tournament, one of the few tournaments that kind of Eve has outside of the old AT, is, yeah, sure, they could find it limiting in the sense that they may not have that flexibility on TQ to bring to CC. But I don't think it's a massive thing. But feel free to disagree.
No, I was just curious because like I mean, I'm one of those players that has really good subcap skills, but I also know, especially some of these teams, maybe not the two that we see here, but I do know some other teams are, I would say, less serious about this or aren't, as seasoned players. They're either newer players or they're, just doing this for fun rather than, for that bragging rights and whatnot. So I was just curious.
No worries. Just quick correction on something I said. So I said the Sacrilege and the Cerberus have like comparable DPS. I think the difference is like 160 DPS or 150, something like that. If you go triple BCs on a Cerberus versus, like single BCU on a Sacrilege.
I'm assuming that's also a Scourge on a Serb, isn't it?
That's actually a good point. I was doing Inferno Rage, but if you did Scourge, I think it's more significant. I think it's like 200 and something DPS difference, 300. 250, I think. But
Welcome to maths. We hate it.
yeah. But the thing is, I mean, it's important to think of the Cerberus more as just being locked to kinetic damage, because it still does, 650 DPS roughly with any other type of damage that it wants to do. So Inferno 650, Nova 650. It doesn't need to be Scourge. I think you get an extra 100 and bit DPS out of switching to Scourge, but it's easier for you to get like tanked against specifically if the enemy team wanted to do that, especially if there are I was going to say flex hardeners, but that's not right, is it? It's armor reactives, sorry, on the enemy team.
Yep. Well, hey, both teams are now on the grid, so we can switch over to the grid when you're ready. And here we are, and already I can see that everyone is trading Cowardice to 5. I am Winged, of course, joined by Rain. Do you want to start us off, Rain, where they are, what they've got?
Yeah, I mean, it's to simply put, they're all at 50. So, Traveling Sales Team warped in at 50, Odin's Booty Call warped in at 50. The thing to note here is that they are kind of like at a 90-degree angle. One sort of being on the, I don't know how you describe it, top hemisphere, and one being at the lower hemisphere. So they're probably more of like 70 to 80 kilometers away from each other rather than a straight 100 kilometers away from each other.
Yep, and the countdown's just finished, and off they go. I'm curious to see what they try primary with that Ged Navy at range. Obviously, he wants to start kind of as far away as he can get, because he can apply pretty much across most of the grid.
Yeah, we immediately see this Merlin sort of trying to get transversal from these ships, especially that Ged Navy. He doesn't want to
Definitely, he can burn all the way around if he likes.
Yeah, for sure. He doesn't want to get instantly blocked. Oh, you can actually see them attempting to shoot him as they barely scrape his shields.
Yep, looks like the Serb's being hit as well now. There's currently no damage coming back from him.
Yeah, I'm not quite
look
sure.
at that Serb. Ow!
Yeah, he is dying very quickly. Although he is boosting, it looks like he's boosting himself. I'm not sure if he has hit his ADC there.
I think he had a very good shot on him, because that went straight from like maybe half shields to straight into armor.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not quite sure who the Odin's team is shooting at. We haven't seen anyone on the blue side take damage. Oh, the Mauler is starting to take damage now.
And I checked this Maul, it has exactly 0 guns, and it's not moving particularly fast, so I'm thinking this is actually an RR Mauler, so yeah, boys, here we go.
Yeah, and if you look, they have a mass amounts of shield reps, or not shield reps, excuse me, armor reps already on him, the drones. As well as there's some hostile drones, with the Punisher actually attempting to clear those.
That is honestly awesome. I love seeing stuff like that. The Mauler getting that resist bonus makes it a really good RR boat, especially if the damage is just so anemic. Currently, nothing's really died. I think they're still trying to shoot the Serb. Yep, they're still trying to pick on that Serb.
Yeah, this Mauler is, I'm thinking the Tinker setup you guys had mentioned. He is currently orbiting the Typhoon fleet issue, trying to get transversal and not getting too far away from his battleships.
Yep, definitely can do that for sure. They're still shooting the Serb at the moment. Looks like the Ishtar is now being shot as well.
Yeah, and it looks like they're using sentry drones from the Rattlesnake to attempt to shoot that Mauler. It's not doing too well with his transversal. And I do you guys see those E-War effects coming out? It looks like from the Ishtar. They look like ECM.
I gotta say, like, I'm liking this position for Odin's Booty Call. Traveling Salesman, sorry. Because essentially, they can't really be touched at the moment unless the other guys can find enough damage to actually hurt them. That Maul's gonna wrap pretty much everything up.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they can just keep chewing into the Serb, they can chew into the Ishtar, and they'll have limited tank. They will break. There is no RR coming for them.
Although, to be fair, with the ECM coming, if they're able to sort of start breaking something and then jam the Mauler so that the Mauler cannot rep them, that is also a valid
strategy. Look at that Merlin. Oh, wow. Wow. One shot from shield straight through armor, straight into hull. That transversal must have hit 0 for a short time.
Yeah, he's gonna be the one who is more than likely going to boundary, so he has to be very careful.
And speaking of, look at the Serb as well. Serb is now into half hull. I swear that's gonna be the Ged Navy just putting chunks into these boys.
Yep. If you actually, I think he has a target painter on him as well, so probably from that Typhoon fleet issue.
Yeah, seen the Typhoon hit them as well. But that's now 2 ships going into full brown pants mode. That is not good at all.
I know, and they don't really have much to show for it either. It looks like the Mauler's passively regenning shield, same with the Punisher. Typhoon fleet issue has taken some damage, but not much. Ooh, Serb is down.
Yeah. This is the problem that this Rattlesnake team is currently in. They don't have the damage to break through these reps. and they try and pick on the Maul. They got so many Logi drones on. They got a cap transfer. That Maul is just a gigantic brick that just won't die. So they're going to run out of DPS before they can actually kill a target.
Yeah, these look like. Oh, go on.
And the thing about it as well is this Mauler is only a T1 cruiser in points. It's cheaper than battle cruisers, cheaper than most other ships, so it's a very, very effective Logi ship for the cost. Not bad.
I was gonna say, it looks like both these teams are sort of like a kitey setup. Don't really want to like run into each other and brawl it out, and it's like not doing well for Odin's at least.
Yeah, definitely. Like the obviously a team with a Mauler, they can pretty much just shoot whatever range they want. I'm actually kind of surprised that the small ships aren't trying to get underneath the Geddon's guns. I mean, sure, it's going to get hit by the Typhoon fleet still, but I'd rather be shot by one battleship than two. And it's not going to get any logic from anybody else. They kind of have to.
Yeah, and then actually to call that out with getting under guns, this Wolf has actually come in and tackled that Geddon Navy, and then he is now getting tackled, like counter-tackled, if you want to call it that, by the Punisher. So he is actually in here attempting to duke it out with these guys, although the battleships aren't really paying him any mind.
They don't care at all.
No.
You little gnat. I think I'm seeing that's a NOS effect from the Wolf onto the Mauler. I think the Typhoon fleet is changing targets. No, he's not. He's still shooting the Ishtar.
Looks like Lucas Kwan and the Pontifex also has, it looks like ECM out on that Rattlesnake. So trying to jam him out so that way he cannot apply any damage.
That Rattlesnake's probably not enjoying life right now. He's got all the damage in the world. He's got all the tank in the world. You just can't do anything with it.
Yeah,
that Wolf is now going low armor.
I will
Wolf
say
is ADC.
Yep, looks like EADC is repping back up, but though they switched primaries now to that Ishtar, the Mauler is taking damage from the Rattlesnake, so the jams are not working on him. However, his sentries have been out here sitting, and I don't think they're actually done much. I would expect more from Rattlesnake sentries.
Definitely, yeah. I'm actually surprised by how little they're doing. I'm thinking that Mauler's got a 10 MM, but I could be very, very wrong about that.
Yeah, I'm actually, okay, so if you zoom in on these bouncers that were dropped by the Rattlesnake, they aren't shooting anything whatsoever. So he may be out of range, actually, to be able to apply damage from these bouncers. And they
Oh god,
can't...
abandon and grab two more, quickly.
Yeah, I know, like, they're completely worthless just sitting here. It looks like Wolf ADC has now fallen off.
Yep, and he's not long for this world. I think a Punisher might be just 1v1ing him at this point.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Well, it looks like maybe the Typhoon's actually shooting him too.
The Typhoon decides to help. He's putting drones on him, so yeah, he will finish up that Wolf, and there he goes. This is not looking good for them at all. That Rattlesnake is just kind of stuck. You're not being able to do much. I think Ishtar's going to be the next primary. So he is a world away from this fight.
Yeah. He is, they're still able to get at least a target painter on him.
No, it looks like their next primary is going to be the Rattlesnake now. They got to go for the big dog.
Yeah, that Merlin is dying too. So he too got in there to try and do some tackling plays, but the Punisher has got him pinned down now, and he's dying to drones.
Yep, that's a man with bravery trained to 5, and unfortunately, Sense was not trained as well, as he just gets deleted.
So if we're looking, the Mauler's taking more damage now. He still, what I saw was, yep, he still has a flight of remote rep drones on him. So he's at least trying to stay alive. I'm trying to figure out what exactly is shooting him. It might be those Ishtar drones?
I believe it might be the Rattlesnake, but I'm not quite sure. But the thing is as well, is that I've been noticing the Maul is actually self-repping as well. And he's just kind of sitting at 70% armor and just not moving from there.
Yeah.
In fact, at this point, he's actually driving away from his own team. He's leaving the TFI, he's leaving the Armageddon Navy. He needs to be close to rep them, but at the same time, he doesn't really need to be there right now. He's just being shot by everybody.
Yeah, I think
he's kind of done his job.
There should be plenty of time for him to burn back.
Exactly.
If they start dying, although I'm watching this Ishtar slowly bleed too.
Yeah, I love this Punisher whenever it tackled him. The Punisher burns over and tackled the poor guy.
Nice, nice. So this Geddon Navy is doing actual work, just clearing things off the field with his lasers.
Yeah, that Ishtar is now low hull. He's 1 or 2 volleys away from death. Good tackle from the Punisher there to make sure he couldn't move. And pop, there he goes.
Yeah, the Punisher is now, it looks like sitting on... Oh no, where's the Rattlesnake? I lost the... Oh, there he is. Rattlesnake's actually... Wow, okay. I thought the Rattlesnake was further away, but he is sitting really close to this Geddon Navy.
Yep. I think the Geddon Navy will still be able to hit him, because of course it is a battleship. It has a signature of a small moon.
Yeah, exactly.
That's still. But at least he got closer to the Armageddon Navy. He tried to get under his guns. And to be fair, his tank on that rattlesnake is pretty beastly.
Yeah, it's a pretty good force to be reckoned with. There's a reason folks will sometimes ban it with this stuff because.
And notice this as well. Sorry, look at the Geddon Navy. He is burning towards his Mauler buddy now. He sat like away from everybody as the Maul's running away, and now he's being attacked. He's just slowly burning over to him and getting his reps back. That is perfectly well done.
All right, and yeah, you're right. The rattlesnake is shooting the Geddon Navy, although it's not really doing too much. I want to say he's getting shot as well, but it looks like he must have a lot of EHP because his health is barely ticking down.
Oh yeah, those Geddon Navies can have absolutely brutal tanks. I definitely love seeing them. Well, this rattlesnake is now going to have to fight the world, and unfortunately, so far they have not killed a single ship on this team.
No, not at all. I don't think any really dropped into low armor, and we only have like 30 seconds left in the match too.
I think this rattlesnake may live to fight another day, but unfortunately, none of his team will join him there. As this RR Mauler team has actually managed to come through with the clutch.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the intended plan was from the Odin's Booty Call team, but whatever it was, they were still outplayed by the Traveling Salesmen's team.
There's our final countdown, 2, 1, and the rattlesnake will actually live. Congratulations to you, sir. You win the Darwin Award.
Good fights in local. With that, we'll send it back to the studio. All right, welcome back.